Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, all my beautiful friends from all across the vast reaches of the internet. I hope each and every single one of you is doing absolutely fantastic on this fine Tuesday morning, or whenever you happen to be listening to this podcast episode, whether that be morning, evening, or into the night. Welcome back to the Reddit Asks Us podcast, the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/AskReddit. I am your host, Luke Dick. Now, before we get into the show, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating and also leave us a review. It helps with the show so much. If you could go ahead and do that, that would be greatly appreciated. Remember, you can actually leave a comment on this week's episode, and I'll read those comments out loud on the next week's following episode. And you can do this by going to Spotify. It doesn't matter if you don't listen in Spotify. You can just still download the app, create an account, go for it. You don't even need to subscribe to the app at all. You just go type in my podcast, find it, find the episode you want to comment on. Most recent episode is the ones that I read out, so I hope you go for that one. I hope that one seems nice and juicy as an opportunity for you. Go to that podcast episode, scroll down, and you should see a comment section there, and I will read those comments out loud on the next week's following episode as previously stated. So, we also do a Would You Rather. So, every single week, we read out the results of the previous week's Would You Rather, and then before we head into the next episode, we give you a brand new one to chew on throughout the rest of the show. I think that's it. Why don't we get right into it? So last week's episode, the Would You Rather was, would you rather experience the worst pain for 10 seconds or spend 6 months in a medium security prison? We got more votes on this one, so I have to say I'm proud of you folks. A lot of times people just leave their answers in the comments, which is totally fine. You can leave your answers in the comments, but remember to leave a vote. The Would You Rather vote is literally right underneath the comment section. Leave your vote there. The vote matters, okay? You have a say, all right? We want you to respond to the Would You Rather. So, appreciate the uptick a little bit there in votes. Sorry, guys, I'm still getting over. I was sick. I think it was last week. I recorded last week's episode, and the next day I got sick. So I'm still kind of getting over it at this point. So it was it's never great, never great. And when I get sick, I'm just stuck in bed. I just can't leave. Some people just cough, sniffle. Not me. No, I'm locked in bed, and I'm not even sleeping. I'm just tossing and turning. That's it. I'm just hot and cold at the same time. I'm Schrodinger's flu. That's the kind of flu that I have. Okay. So for this one, we had worst pain for 10 seconds. Worst pain that any human has ever experienced, ever, all at once, for 10 seconds. And you know what? I feel like I lean towards that one too. But they both suck. They both really suck. The trauma of that pain would probably live with you for the rest of your life. You're probably going to wake up screaming. And it's like, think about it. Think about how long it took for someone to die from like a really painful thing. 10 seconds? Yeah. If it's that painful, and if it's something that's that lethal as well, like, I don't know. How long would it take for someone to die from getting drawn and quartered? Like, my Google searches are gonna cause some serious red flags. The federal government is really gonna come looking for me. How long did it take to die from drawn and quarter? Several minutes to a half an hour. Okay, maybe that's a little different. That sounds insane. In case anybody doesn't know what being drawn and quartered is, I feel that's so funny. I feel like I'm just talking on this podcast like everybody knows what that is. I'm just some insane psychopath. Like, Yeah, obviously, you know what being drawn and quartered is. Who doesn't know what being drawn and quartered is? It's like one of the most common ways of medieval execution. Okay, that's literally what we're gonna go back to when society collapses. So you better understand what you're talking about. Yeah, my buddy just got drawn and quartered the other week. Yeah. Didn't turn out too well for him. Being drawn and quartered is essentially where this is so insane. They tie really tight, strong ropes to each one of your limbs, and then tie the end of those ropes to some very powerful animal, like a bull or a horse, typically horses, and they just pull all your limbs off. Yes, it is as horrifying as it sounds. I've seen many a medieval drawing on Google. You know, my 10, 11-year-old creativity got the best of me at that point in my life, so not necessarily proud of it, but... And I may have seen an episode of 1,000 Ways to Die where that was one of the episodes, so shout out to childhood traumas. I remember one time when I was really young that I watched 1,000 Ways to Die, like a few episodes, before like my family went on a ski trip, and I ended up being so terrified that I didn't want to go skiing, and I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I don't want to go skiing. I watched 1,000 Ways to Die, and I'm gonna die. She's like, you're not gonna die. Relax. But you need to stop watching that fucking show. She's like, you need to stop hanging out with your dad late at night, because he doesn't care what he watches, and if you're gonna be there to be around it, then that's on you, bro. All right. Well, let's get into the comments. So last week's episode was, what's a green flag that's secretly a red flag? So hopefully nobody's run into too many of these. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Paul McChartney, first one, says, finally finished rewatching all the podcast episode. It was torture. You have replaced my inner dialogue because it's the only voice I heard all day, every day for a few weeks. That's on you, bro. I didn't make you go back and listen to all my episodes. Thank you very much for doing so. I appreciate you being so dedicated. But, bro, I gotta be straight up. You have decided to replace yourself with me in your mind. That came from your mind and your mind only, my friend, and now it's my mind. Now I have it. Now I own it. And you will never escape my voice. My voice is the only voice you will hear for the rest of your life. Is that like, I feel like that's like another torture method, is just playing this podcast just constantly. It's like the last and only thing you're ever going to hear. You're going to have to, I don't know, man. You're going to have to go deaf or something, bro. Like, I think it's too much. I think there's a limit. I think there's a limit with how much you can reach of my voice before, and my talking and my just personality before you reach, a tipping point of no return, okay? Before you reach the singularity in which the facade of my podcast inherently collapses in on itself and becomes infinitely a black hole of nothingness. And you just get spaghettified by my voice. And I got to tell you, man, there's worse ways to go out, but not that many. Let's just say that. There's worse ways to go out, but it's up there. Just listening to the show endlessly over and over again, I mean, that's going to take a toll on anybody. I don't blame you. Next one comes from Stressed Human. What's going on, Stressed Human? Great to always hear from you. You basically went on a tangent. Yeah, this was from previous episodes, so maybe I'll skip that part. But the biggest thing that people think is a green flag is when someone is overly nice and generous right off the bat. And I'm not saying they can't be nice and generous, but when it's too much, it's most likely love bombing. And people often overlook this and blame the person who's being love bombed as only liking jerks and not liking nice guys and stuff. Yeah, and also people will call for that shit back too. Like, people will be like, mad that you didn't like reciprocate the generosity, or that, you know, you owe them. It's their subtle way of getting you to owe them something, which is just, it's really weird when you see that psychology play out in person, because you're kind of just like, you know, it's like watching a tornado kind of happen around you, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, are we fucking for real right now? Like, did this tornado just like spontaneously tornade? Like, this is, I'm utterly confused right now. I closed my eyes and then I opened them, and all of a sudden my car is in the pool. Like, this doesn't make any sense, okay? I don't have a dog anymore. Maybe that one was a little dark, sorry. little too dark. But yeah, blaming the person who's love bombed too, especially because, like, I feel like love bombing is such a thing because we live in this age of just chronically being online. And I think that just causes, you know, people to just be in their own ecosystem of online content. And then people don't spend as much time with real people. And, you know, people get lonely. And then they find somebody who just gives them all the affection in the world. And then before long, you know, they're just, you know, they're so engulfed by it, you know, they just get completely overtaken. And that's, you know, I don't blame anybody for that, because it's easy to fall into that trap for sure, because you're kind of in a state where you don't, you know, you're vulnerable. You're very vulnerable, and you're easily accessed through what people can say to you to make you feel good. And some people are really insanely good at that, is saying the right things to make you feel good. And then they just, you know, dip out, and you're just left thinking like, you're a psycho. Like, what the fuck? How do you know that? Where did you learn this? Like, this is some master manipulation techniques going on right now. Like, there's got to be a class for this. Like, there's no way you just pick this up on your own, okay? There's no way you just go through life and just learning how to masterly manipulate people. You must have had to take in like a crash course, you know, a 6-step, 12-step program in order to just get exactly what you want, manipulate the shit out of people every time you speak to them. How to say the perfect thing to people to get exactly what you want. It's like, yeah, I read that book like 5 times. It's genius, man. Get exactly what I want every time. It's like, have you also considered that you are a sociopath? That you're a terrible person? Maybe that's, you know, maybe something you should read a book about. Maybe read a psychology textbook. Maybe read the DSM-5 and see how well you fit the criteria for a sociopath. Jay Flocka, next one comes from Jay Flocka, and Jay Flocka says, I'd stay in the prison because the worst amount of pain, even if it was only 10 seconds, the amount of stress it would put on you to survive, it could be harmful. This is kind of what I was saying. I was like, that's probably going to live with you. You know what I mean? Like, I've experienced some pretty intense pain, and sometimes I get like that phantom pain. Like, it lives with me. It's like a scar in your mind. You know what I mean? It's something you just don't forget what it feels like. Oh, I had shingles. Oh, that was awful. It was just intense nerve pain. In case you guys, I might have already talked to you guys about how much I've, you know, about my shingles and whatnot. But I did have early onset, and it's you know, I've never had it since, but holy fuck, it was intense. The pain was ridiculous. It's just your nerve endings in certain spots are just frying, and I will just never forget what that felt like. That, like, this etched into my mind, you know, like a freaking Etch-a-Sketch that you can never get rid of. Like, it's just scribbles everywhere. Don't get me wrong. There's probably worse pain out there, but that one stuck with me. Next one comes from Dude Bro. I don't really have an answer for this week, but for the would you rather, I would rather feel the worst pain because I'm busy and I don't have free 6 months. That's funny. This guy's just speed running the pain. He's just like, yeah, I got reports to fill. Okay, it's hustle bustle for me. All right, we gotta put a pin in that. Circle back. You know, we gotta. It's a finance segue pipeline. Shout out to Sean on Instagram. It's a finance segue pipeline. You know, supply demand. We gotta get more supply because there's lots of demand. There's lots of demand. We need more supply, and we're gonna be supplying it. We gotta sell those stocks, sell those bonds, pull the stocks, short them. We got to do it all. Okay, you are a busy person. Always on the laptop, bro, checking those charts. Next one comes from DM. Last one here. I appreciated the well wishes about my comic. Thank you. Well, you're welcome. I was very happy to be able to give those praises to you because you deserve them. I guess if someone seems super nice, it could just be fake. Very true. Shout out to DM or to Stressed Human. For the would you rather, I'm going with the pain since the amount of time is just so much less. Again, does living with you forever, is it really that less time? You never know. But also, medium security prison, you're probably not hanging out with a bunch of upstanding citizens. You know what I mean? It's it's prison. Let's get this right. It's still prison. Okay, there is the potential for getting shanked is still higher than it would be otherwise. With a toothbrush, still. So you're gonna get shanked with something someone has had in their mouth. So that seems a little bad. Okay. Next one. So for this week's Would You Rather, the Would You Rather is, would you rather live in a party-focused megacity where it's always loud and always on? Like the city is always on. It's a megacity, never ever sleeps. You're always hearing noise constantly. Or would you rather live in a ridiculously small town where like nothing happens? So in this big city, it's like there's no breaks. It is go all the time, constant, never ending. The small town, opposite. It is so slow that nothing ever happens, and it is so tiny that there's next to nothing to do. This one might divide the lines. Okay, this might be where we split off from each other. Okay, we were once podcast listeners and enjoyers together, but now we enjoy the podcast separately from a distance. We still give each other a little bit of a nod every once in a while, like we're walking down the street and just kind of like see each other. We kind of hate each other, but you're on the opposite side of the street. And it's like, I don't want to wave because I don't want to let the other people know that like we're cool, but we're cool. So I give you a little like wink, like a little head nod, but it's like really subtle, like the one that's in Star Wars with Luke, and Return of the Jedi, where they're all kind of nodding at each other, but like everybody knows, but like nobody knows. So it's kind of like one of those things. I feel like I drew that out enough. All right, folks, why don't we head into this week's episode? This episode's title. What was a rule in your house growing up that you had that you didn't realize was weird until you moved out? We've done this episode a couple times, folks, and we've always had some fun with it. Everybody has a bit of weird, quirky rules in their house. Everybody carries baggage. Everybody has that kind of stuff. Like, I think I didn't grow up in like the possible potential most health conscious household. Like, trust me, the way that some of these kids are growing up, that was not me. I was not traumatized by it. However, like, I've never had I want to say this correctly. I've never had a pizza pocket. Is that what they're called? I believe that's the name. For some reason, I'm saying it out loud and it doesn't feel like that's the right name. But I've never had one in my life. I've never had a pizza pocket. A corn dog. I've never had one of those, like those ones that you get in the grocery store. I think actually I had a Korean corn dog, but only as an adult. And those ones are actually pretty fucking good. But never as a child, never had anything like that. I never had any like processed like other than like popcorn and chips every once in a while. Like I never had any like like processed kind of snacks. Like my mom always baked and she always made them herself. And she was like, this is like way better than anything you're going to get at the store. And that stuff is full of terrible things for you. So you're not going to, I'd rather just give it to you myself. I'd rather poison you on my own. Okay. It's not fair for the world to poison you. I birthed you, so I get to poison you. But no, she made way healthier stuff. So I definitely lived in like a health conscious household. Like we never had, growing up, like we really ever had like soda or pop in the house. It was only until I got a bit older. TV time was very restricted for us. Like we didn't have TV time or cable, stuff like that. But like looking back, it sounds like a bit, trust me, like it can sound a bit like old school, old fashioned, but I think in the grand scheme of things, it was actually really good for my sister and I. I think it was really good. Like I wouldn't have changed anything. And to be honest, nowadays I don't really even drink pop or soda because just like it's really sugary. Like every once in a while I'll get like a craving for it, but most of the time it's just so intense and so sugary that it's hard to enjoy. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to enjoy. So you know what? I think in a lot of ways it was really good for me to grow up like that. I think the ideal is for me to grow up like, but everybody has their own little weird, quirky rules. So first one comes from Abnormal 2004. It wasn't after moving out, but it wasn't after moving out, but in the 3rd grade, I spent the night at a friend's house. The next morning, her mother served us cereal for breakfast. After I ate mine, she asked me if I wanted more. I told her I already ate mine. She asked me again if I wanted more. I was genuinely confused. More cereal? It was like seeing colors I'd never seen before. This one is... I don't think we have enough backstory to know whether this was just like someone just depriving you of food, or whether it was just like just a crazy, insane, like calorie clocker. You know what I mean? Like Calorie Kathy over here is just counting every single calorie, every macro and micro you could possibly imagine, is measuring out exactly how much grams of fiber and protein and, whatever, prebiotics, postbiotics, present biotics, whatever's in that bitch. That is more cereal. It's really sad if this is just like a financial thing. Like, please, sir, can I have some more cereal? Like, that's just now we're sad. Now it's just like, hey, bro, give me your DM, dude. I'll get you some cereal, bro. I'll ship you some cereal. We should pool our money together and get this user a cereal subscription. You know what I mean? We should ensure that they never run out of cereal for as long as their body is living and breathing. And even after it's done breathing and living, we will carry on the cereal down the bloodline. Soon enough, you will become the first iteration of human evolution to be made entirely of cereal. Oh, this was another thing. Yeah. No sugary cereals. We were never allowed sugary cereals, only on special occasions like Christmas and like when we would go camping, one of our camping trips that we took in the summer. No sugary cereals ever. So when I got Fruit Loops, dog, they were gone. The Fruit Loops were gone. Like before, it was see, I'm speechless, guys. That's just me trying to channel how I felt as a young child eating Fruit Loops. It was just it was so peak, you guys. It was immaculate. It was euphoria, okay? It was the ultimate level of reality. That's what I was experiencing when I had Fruit Loops. And Lucky Charms. Lucky Charms were goated. Lucky Charms were so goated. But the workaround was the Honey Nut Cheerios, but I could never have them because I am allergic to nuts. I'm allergic. All right, so all you motherfuckers are allergic. Okay? Y'all are allergic to nuts and peanuts and shit. I'm allergic. Okay? And that was devastating for me. To watch people enjoy fake sugary cereal. You know what that did to me? Do you know what that did to me? I never recovered. Okay? I still look at it. I'll smell it. If it's in someone's house, I'll open up that fucking box and I'll take a big old whiff. Just to think about what it might be. What could have been if I was born with different conditions. Oh my gosh. Do Youth 1557 said, mine is similar to this but with soda. Only one soda a day in our only one soda a day in our house when we had it in the fridge. One soda a day? Bro, that's a lot. That's kind of insane. Like, I don't think that's the same, bro. One soda a day? Are you kidding me? Bro, if we got pop, it was on like a weekend and like one weekend of the month. That was like what we got. And it was goated every time we did. It was like when mom came home and she had like a box of 7-Up or iced tea, we were bouncing off the fucking walls, okay? I might have gone outside and just like killed a rabbit with my bare hands, okay? And just like ate it with my mouth and teeth and just straight up. Okay, that's how ravenous, or what is the word? Ravenous, or is that the word ravenous? What is that word? Extremely hungry, yes. And greedy. Eager for satisfaction, yes. This is quite exactly how I felt. I was ravenous, okay? You would have thought I was a fucking basketball the way that I was bouncing around in that house, okay? Holy. Oh, man. That's insane that you thought you were on par. This person's literally starving, and you're like, yeah, man. Oh, I know how you feel, dude. I know how you feel. Only one cheeseburger a day. Yeah, imagine that. Imagine fucking that. Only one cheeseburger a day. And we only got fries like every other day. Yeah. It was fucking brutal, okay? I wanted to off myself as a child. I knew how painful this life was going to be. From a very young person, I understood the nature of the suffering in this world. The true essence of what it means to suffer. Yeah. Fuck, man, we had it pretty bad, didn't we? It's like, I was starving. I would have eaten anything. I would have eaten you, okay, if you would have came to my house. Next one comes from Oh Simple Thing. Girls in the family woke up at 5 a.m. and did chores. Boys slept until their clothes were laid out and breakfast was ready on the table. What the fuck? I thought this was the norm until I was like 16 years old. I was homeschooled. Meanwhile, my husband changes at least 50% of the diapers, works full-time, and does plenty of housework around the house without being asked. And we're raising 2 daughters, and that BS is ending with me. This is interesting. So, when did you grow up? The fucking 1800s? Like, were you servants to a royal family in the 1700s? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is insane. Were you waiting hand and foot on the fucking Pope? Like, what is happening? Woke up at 5 in the morning and did chores. Did you also churn butter? Like, this is crazy. Like, this is this is absolutely insane. Waking up at 5 a.m. to go milk the cows, pick the eggs from the chicken coop, you know, maybe plow a couple fields before the men get up and start, you know, eating the fruits of the labor. Because that's what it means, okay? We have to feed our bigger bodies. And it just goes right to the body, okay? None of it goes to the brain. This is actually insane. Born in 1990s in the Midwest in a blue state. Not a super religious family. What? They were new agey. They were kind of new agey, not Christians. There's no way, dude. There's no freaking way, okay, Someone has some like power dynamics going on here. There's no way this doesn't come from an insanely like religious background or like some level of like nobility, okay? This is absolutely ridiculous. Like, the only people who are living like this nowadays are people who are stuck in certain religious ways, or I don't know, you are still, waiting on the royal family. Oh, Prince Harry, I will clean I have no problem. No problem, sir. I'll clean your underwear. I'll clean the skid marks out of your underwear, Harry. No worries. Don't even worry about it. I've done this since you were a little boy. It's like we're the same age. Yeah. And make sure you actually clean it and get some elbow grease into it this time. There were skid marks all over my freaking underwear last time. Okay? You know how embarrassing that is? For the princess to see that? It's freaking... Yeah. And where are my grapes? Okay? I want to be fed grapes in the bathtub. You know this. It's like, those are pretty much the only possible ways I could imagine that playing out. Next one comes from WarnX9. I cringe at how loud my wife and kids are just walking around the house without realizing, because I, still 30 years later, tiptoe around my own home because you never knew if my alcoholic father was trying to sleep or not. And if he heard even a tiny floor creak, he'd come up, oh my God, and beat you into next week. This is insane. That is like horrible. That's awful. The crazy thing too is the thought that somebody who's so drunk is so alert. Like, how are you able to hear anything that's going on right now? Okay, you just downed a bottle of vodka. Okay, like you were a fucking, like you were stranded in the desert drinking your first gulp of water in like 3 weeks. You just down that shit like it was nothing. Okay? Like that shit passed all the way through you. And you know what's the worst too? Is a lot of times these like abusive alcoholic type people, it's like for some reason they don't die from their alcoholism. Like, you'll just get like a regular Joe just dies at like 40 years old. It's like, what the fuck just happened? And then this motherfucker lives till like 80. And like, it's like, what? What the fuck is going on here? Okay? We need to get our priorities straight. Okay? Whoever is got the master plan needs some tweaks. Okay? You need a couple tweaks. I got a couple suggestions for you. How about we let the abusive alcoholics kick the bucket like way earlier? Like we don't need them around. It's good, it's fine. They're not adding anything, okay? Nobody's learning any lessons from this. Like there's nothing to be learned. If there's some great giant master plan, I think the blueprint, it could, couple, maybe we could treat it like CAD almost, where we need to erase some parts, we gotta rebuild certain areas. I think that's probably, can we make this, like a bit of a, back and forth kind of thing? Because right now it's it's not very convincing. Let's go next one. Next one comes from Unarmed Cookie says, I thought every grandparents wouldn't let their grandchild get up in the morning before grandma had her coffee. It's like, no, we strap you to bed for a reason, okay? There's a reason why. It's important to learn how to get out of a straitjacket. You never know in life when you could end up confined. So this is one of those things you're just going to have to figure out. And until you do that, I just need to have my morning coffee. Let me have my morning tea, a little bit of sugar, a little milk. And if you can't get out of the straitjacket, you're obviously not ready. You're obviously not ready to be an adult. This is what adult life is about, okay? And once you make it out of the straitjacket, then we'll move on to the next level. All right, I'm going to lock you in the basement with a straitjacket on. And then once I had my coffee, you can finally be set free. That's me showing you mercy. All right? But there's going to come a day when I'm not going to drink my coffee. And I'm just going to wait. And I'm going to wait and wait and wait. And if you don't make it out, then you don't make it out. It's like, holy shit, Grandma. What's the lesson here? I don't understand. What am I supposed to be learning? Life is a prison? That I don't have control over anything. That being in a straitjacket is really uncomfortable. That I'm not as talented as Houdini. It's like, finally, you understand the lesson. I was trying to teach you this the whole time. You're just never going to be as talented as Houdini. You're never going to be able to make it out the straitjacket. And that is an important lesson, okay? Because sometimes we just will never live up to Houdini's skill and his talent. And that is just something we need to accept. It's like, I think a parable could have done. Maybe a little allegory. Scary stories. Bedtime stories. That could have been just fine. Maybe a movie. Maybe just pushing it to the edge of movie that I'm not supposed to see. You didn't have to go through all of that. You didn't have to make a horror movie. You could have just showed me one. I think I would have got the message loud and clear. Just fine. Just as good. No issues there. Oh, man. But now I do understand as children, like, why my parents got up so much earlier than I did to just drink coffee. Still, even to this day, my mom is up earlier than everybody, and but I also sleep in when I go home. I generally wake up fairly early, but my mom is definitely awake before, like, everybody, and she's just sitting there in her chair with her coffee, ready to lock in. She's like, my kids thought it was going to get better. Thought it was going to change. It's been 26, 27 years. Has not changed. Holy shit. I'm getting old. I'm not 27. My sister's 27. Or she's turning 27. And I'll be turning 25 in the fall, so. Holy fuck, I'm old. Bacon Bra. Next one comes from Bacon Bra. It's just crazy. I've had this podcast since I was 20. And thinking back, I'm like, I was such a different person at 20 years old. I don't even think I was fully conscious as a 20-year-old. I thought I was, but I wasn't even fucking close. I don't even think I am now. But now I just know that I'm not conscious. But back then, I was like, I just thought I had it all. No, I don't even think I had. I thought I knew what I was talking about. No, I didn't know shit. Yeah. Life will come smack you in the face a couple times before it tells you, like, how many fucking times do I have to tell you that you don't know anything? So stop. It's like, oh, shit. Did it again. Bacon Bra 2500 says, not really a weird rule, but my dad had to tell my brother to lean over your plate so often that he made it into an abbreviation. LOIP. He said it's so often for a while after childhood, I forgot it wasn't even an actual verb that people used. LOIP would have helped me as a child. It still happens. I feel like I leave the table the messiest. My plate, like, there's always crumbs around my plate, and my plate is always just the most disorganized and in disarray more than anyone else's plate. Everybody kind of, shifts their food neatly, gets, kind of scoops their sauce. No, I'm just like, my mom always makes fun of me. She's like, you don't eat food, you inhale it. She's like, will you not just take a second to enjoy what you're eating? And I'm like, I have no time to enjoy. I'm hungry. Okay, that's all. It feels so good to just gluttonously stuff my face full of food. and just not even taste it. I don't even care. Don't even bother. It's all gonna go in the same place anyways, okay? I am just gonna... Part of the enjoyment is, for me, is just inhaling it. Plus, I don't really eat a lot. Like, I'll eat like one serving, like one plate. Sometimes I might go back for seconds, but it's usually fairly rare. I don't have a big appetite. I've never really had a big appetite as a person. Like, I have a very average to below average appetite, I would say. And I just... Part of the enjoyment for me is the just, you know, potential of choking to death. If I lived alone, could be a scary scene when my roommate leaves for too long. Kind of puts a little bit of a fire under my ass to chill out on my eating and how fast I'm doing it, because there might be nobody around. There might be no one here to reach into the back of my throat and, you know, pull out a string cheese. Shout out to my family. Deep cut, deep reference there. Shout out to my sister. But I'm always a spiller. You know, I gotta watch what I do, because I spill on my shirts, I spill on my pants. It's bad, dude. Especially like when we're out. You know, it's for some reason I have an addiction to sitting just a little bit too far away from the table. I just have a magnetic sort of repulsion towards getting close to the edge of the table for some reason. Don't know why or where, how it comes, but it's just it's a force of nature. You know what I mean? I think this is like a physical principle. If I was around and friends with Isaac Newton at the time, I think this would have been one of his first Newtonian principles, is what he would have written down, is that any Luke cannot get closer than a foot to the edge of the table, or else we don't know what's going to happen. It's catastrophic. It could collapse the universe in on itself. Let's see what else we have here. The Inevitable Vacuum says, growing up, if my sibling or I didn't like what my mom had cooked for dinner, we were not required to eat it. But the rule was that we had to make ourselves our alternative dinner. Obviously, I wasn't cooking with knives or other dangerous tools at a young age, but I always knew that if I didn't like what I was served, I could go and make a sandwich and have some baby carrots. And by the age of 6, I could cook some things on the stove with the help of my 8-year-old sibling. Okay. And are you leaving out the part where the kitchen is left in a fucking giant mess? The pans are all burnt on the bottom, and there's just like sauce and shit everywhere. It's like, you got the job done. You know, the job's not done neatly or tidily, but the job is done. You made a version of spaghetti. Occasionally, my parents would require me to eat just the protein from the dish as long as I didn't hate it too much, since that is the most expensive part. I think this rule was very reasonable, and one of the things my parents did best. Sometimes I would just concede that I didn't dislike dinner enough to actually bother making something else, and this probably helped make me into the very non-picky eater and great cook that I am today. Well, that's good. You should feel proud of yourself. I mean, I didn't learn how to cook until after I moved out of the house, and it was a learning curve. Okay, let me just say I'm still on that learning curve. I lived back at home for COVID when I moved back out when I was in the latter half of being 20 years old. And it's been 5 years since then, actually. Probably would have been just exactly 5 years. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, pretty much exactly 5 years since then. And the curve is still curving, okay? This is it's like a NASCAR racetrack. It's always a curve. Like there's always, like the curve is never over. The race is never completely finished. You know, there's always just one more lap. It's just always turning. It's never going to end. It's never going to end. There's no way this ends well for me. This last one is insane. Okay, guys. 7 Pterodactyl says, my dad used to have a share bath water. If someone took a bath and they were supposed to leave the tub full after, in case someone else wanted to use it. Found out that this was abnormally or abnormal shortly after moving out when I took a bath, then asked my housemates if anyone wanted to bathe before I drained the tub. Everyone was subtly disgusted by that thought. I just love the image of you just like going into the living room, just being like, yeah, tub's free in case anyone wants to use it. Water's still in there. Don't worry, I like didn't dirty it up too much. I didn't hit the gym today, so it's all yours. All yours. It's like, yo, I ran the bath for you. I mean, after me. Like, wait, what? So you just dirtied up this water? You kind of you didn't give me a gift, you gave me a punishment. It's disgusting. If I found out I was bathing in somebody else's bathwater, like not only do I not take baths, I shower, but I will not take a bath. And if I did take a bath, if I found out it was somebody else's water, I might scald my skin off. You know, I might be living in the shower for at least a year. Like I'm going to be rubbing myself in hand sanitizer for the rest of my life, constantly. If I found out that your grubbiness was all in the tub and you were just like, yeah, no, it's chill, bro, just hop in. Save water, man. Dude, I'm already in here. Come on, bro. Don't be so weird about it. Hop in. Let's have a good time. I got my rubber duckies out, dude. Maybe we can make some boats or something. Pretend the shampoo bottles are boats and like have a little war. Be fun, man. Just let loose a little bit. Just join me in the tub. Okay, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning into another episode of the Reddit Ask Us podcast, the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/AskReddit. I am your host, Luke Dick. Now, remember, if you're listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating. Also, leave us a review. Remember to respond to the Would You Rather. I love each and every single one of you. Peace out. Love y'all. Goodbye.